amazing, and people keep wanting to bring it back to Broadway. So what is this version that you did in Washington and on Broadway, and what's the next step? Go.
Well, I don't know what the next step is because it's out of my hands, but Danny Strong did the book, who...
He redid the book? Is that what you mean? Or
yes,
the original book?
Who wrote Dope Stick? That TV show that's on right now?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
But hold on for 1 second. The book didn't work on Broadway because it was about the Cold War, and then it opened on Broadway when the Cold War was kind of open. So is it the same story?
Yeah, but Americans love arguing about politics, so what's the problem?
It was too, like a minute ago. It was almost like, oh my God, it's the lockdown. And it's like, wait, that was 2 years ago. So it would have worked 10 years later, but everyone was like, eh? It was 1988, so it just was weird.
Well, perfect time to do a musical about the Cold War again.
Oh, by the way, 100%. It's actually, the timing is amazing. So it's a period piece. Is it still in the 80s or is it current?
No, it's still a somewhat period piece because we're still playing chess.
I can tell from
Nobody plays that anymore.
80s hair. That's a dish against nerds.
Listen, I was chess champion in high school. I can still play. You want to play?
You were chess champion in high school?
Yeah, chess champion.
You have to be really smart to do that, though. Like I said, no scripted patter, just hostility. Okay, so hold on. So it was in
Sasha's Chess, the musical.
And Into the Who. It was a big deal in DC, but then they did this one-night concert on Broadway, which everyone was like, is this like a precursor to it coming to Broadway? So you don't know if it is or not. We don't know yet.
No, and I don't necessarily know if I want to do it, but I love the music. I love playing the Russian, and this just feels weird. I'm like, I gotta talk about it.
Yeah, but
we're in the wrong seats.
I said what side you want to sit on. You were like, it doesn't matter, man. Fine. If this is for the
Oh, this is much better.
It is?
Now I'm open up.
Anywho, okay, so we don't know what the next step is, but let me ask something. So there are two roles. There's the American and there's the Russian. The American does crazy high belting, and the Russian has these stunning, like, baritone songs. How did you choose between roles?
They always offered me the American, which is
high.
Not necessarily this production, but any other production I've done. It's too much work.
It's a lot of high C's.
But the part of the Russian's better. I like his story arc.
His journey, as we call it.
What you get to play is much more interesting.
Okay, so we don't know what's happening with chess. Someone's being, what's the word?
Coy?
Coy, you're not a fan. Obtuse. Okay, it's all good. So let me go back 1 second. You were born in Iran. I have my parents' friends back in the 70s, like, how to escape during the Shah. Like, how did your family get out? Was it hard to get out or no? I'm trying to lead to the next song. I'm trying to talk about
Yeah, well, you can take the knife and do this, and then I'm gonna have to go sing.
Yeah, it's called you're gonna have to act with some emotion when you sing. You can't just hit the high notes with the dead eyes that you're used to. So go.
Oh!
How long is my contract with the show?
Solid 65 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So wait, how did your family get out? Is there some story behind it? I don't even know.
Of course there is, but
I don't know
I'm not gonna dive into
was.
that here. But
Why
it
not?
was like many families that are doing it now, escaped, fake passports and all that.
Wow.
It was.
And how old were you?
I was months old.
Oh, so you don't know about any of it. You weren't there.
We had to go, otherwise I just wouldn't be here right now.
And you escaped, and then why did you guys choose Canada? Do you know?
Well, we chose Italy first, which is what we spoke about earlier.
No,
you
you
have
said
to listen.
No, he said
You have to
Canada.
listen.
He said Canada, then Italy. Am I
No.
right, people? Back me up. I'm here all the time. He came up time. Support the person who comes to Scottsdale. You went to Italy. Where did you go to Italy?
Outside of Rome and Ostia by the ocean.
Wow. And then why Canada?
Well, that's the question I keep asking my father. I said, we went to the smallest little hick town in Ontario, Peterborough, Ontario, which now I would love to live on a farm. I don't like big cities. That's why I like Old Town Scottsdale. It's pretty cool.
Old Town.
But I said, Dad, why Peterborough, Ontario? What are our choices? He goes, well, Paris was one of them. LA was one. Sweden, Australia. I said, well, who in the room said, hey, I know, Peterborough, Ontario?
And who in the room said that?
Some guy, and that's where we ended up, in like the coldest of winters. And I was just like, we could have been in LA.
Or Paris?
Sweden, though.
Wait, was it Paris, Texas? Did you clarify?
I would have rather had Paris, Texas.
By the way, just total side joke related to all this. So I'm really good friends with Andrea Martin, like my favorite comedy star ever. And
Let me just pick this up for you, mate.
well, come on. My good friend Andrea Martin. But there's no story. I was trying to say that I know her. No, but the point is, she got a gig for me in London, and I was booked doing something else, and I'm like, I'm quitting that gig. I want to go to London with you. She's like, you do? I'm like, yes. So I quit my other gig, and no joke, it was literally London, Ontario. I was so angry. She's like, I was so surprised when to come. Like, you didn't specify. Still angry. All right, so speaking of leaving countries and whatnot, and Chess maybe coming to Broadway, but you refuse to say if it is or not, do your song from Chess, ASAP.